The extreme training routine. Elite military athletes use the gap between someone who passes Special Forces selection and someone who doesn't usually isn't built during selection. It's built in the months before, alone, when no one is watching and no one would know if they skip. That's the truth that separates top performers from everyone else, and it applies far beyond military training. This video covers what elite military athletes actually do when there's no audience, no leaderboard, and no one to impress. The physical stats of candidates who pass SEAL selection versus those who don't are nearly identical at the entry point. What's different is what happened before they showed up. Stay until the end, because one of the specific habits they use is something you can start this week. What are the actual pass rates for the most elite military selection programs? And what do the numbers reveal about who actually makes it? U.S. Navy SEAL training, called BUD/S, has a pass rate of roughly 16 to 20%. Delta Force selection is classified, but credible estimates put it under 5%. These aren't programs that wash out the weak and keep the freakishly athletic. The candidates who show up are already among the fittest people in the military. They've passed multiple fitness screenings just to get there. And yet, the dropout rate is enormous. Researchers who've studied SEAL candidates found that physical fitness scores at the start of BUD/S don't reliably predict who finishes. The candidates who get cut aren't dramatically weaker than the ones who make it. The difference tracks back to training history, specifically whether a candidate built a certain kind of foundation in the months and years before they arrived. That foundation has a name inside special operations culture. They call it going gray. What does it mean to train gray, and why does the person doing it deliberately avoid being seen? Elite operators describe a training philosophy that is invisible, consistent, and deeply private. They're not training to post. They're not chasing personal records in front of a crowd. They're building a base that functions under conditions no training app was designed for. The gray man doesn't stand out in the gym. The gray man doesn't need to. The work is done before anyone else wakes up. Here's what that work actually looks like. Rucking comes first. Loaded carries with 45 to 70 pounds of weight, covering 6 to 12 miles, 3 to 4 times per week. It's not fast, it's not exciting, it doesn't photograph well. But rucking produces specific adaptations that no gym training replicates. Joint resilience under load, sustained muscular endurance, and a particular kind of mental conditioning that only comes from moving slowly under weight for a long time. Elite operators treat it as non-negotiable. Zone 2 cardio is the second pillar, sustained aerobic effort at 60 to 80% of max heart rate, held for 60 to 90 minutes at a stretch. Most people skip this because it feels too slow. It looks too easy. There's no burn, no gasping, no moment where you feel like you're working hard enough to justify the time. That feeling is exactly why most athletes never build the engine they need. Zone 2 builds the aerobic base that powers every other type of output. Without it, performance at higher intensities hits a ceiling that no amount of HIIT training can raise. Special operations work involves sustained output over many hours, sometimes days, carrying heavy loads, moving under pressure, making decisions while physically depleted. The aerobic base built through Zone 2 is what allows the body to recover between high-intensity efforts and keep functioning when fuel runs low. Candidates with a strong Zone 2 base hold their performance later in the week when everyone around them is fading. Instructors can usually identify them by day 3. Is there a specific physical skill that shows up again and again in the backgrounds of candidates who make it through? Grip and pulling strength come up consistently in accounts from special operations training. Candidates who complete selection typically do 20 or more dead hang pull-ups and maintain grip strength under significant fatigue. This isn't vanity fitness. Grip failure during rope climbs, obstacle crossings, and equipment handling is a real liability in ways most gym exercises never test. Training for it means dead hangs, weighted pull-ups, and carrying heavy objects by the handle for distance. One thing that distinguishes elite operator preparation from general fitness culture is the emphasis on structural durability, the tendons, ligaments, and connective tissue that don't strengthen as quickly as muscles, but that bear the actual load when conditions turn extreme. Most gym programs optimize around muscle development on a weekly timeline. Structural durability takes months to build. Candidates who rush the ramp-up frequently injure connective tissue in selection and wash out. Not because they weren't fit enough, but because they hadn't given their bodies enough time to adapt to load. Cold water exposure is another pillar, not primarily for recovery, but for nervous system conditioning. When your body hits cold water, the panic response is immediate. Breathing spikes, heart rate jumps, Every instinct screams to exit. Learning to slow your breathing and move deliberately inside that response is a trainable skill that transfers directly to high-stress field situations. The protocol matters. Brief daily exposure, not occasional long sessions, builds the adaptation over time. Elite units include it deliberately and specifically for the nervous system effect, not as a recovery tool. The research suggests consistent, brief daily exposure builds the nervous system adaptation faster than infrequent, longer sessions. Frequency is what trains the response, not duration. Sleep is the final variable most people overlook. Dr. Matthew Walker's research shows that 20 hours without sleep degrades cognitive and physical performance to levels equivalent to legal intoxication. Elite operators protect sleep when it's available. Recovery isn't softness, it's how the foundation holds. The concept that ties all of this together has a name, and it explains why no one in this community ever talks about what they're doing. Some operators call it the dark miles. The defining training happens before dawn, alone. In conditions that are uncomfortable by design, wet, cold, heavy, dark. Not because suffering is the goal, but because the ability to perform at full capacity with zero external motivation is exactly what the job requires. There's no crowd, there's no music, no one waiting to congratulate you. Just the work, and either you did it or you didn't. That binary, private, unchallengeable, known only to you is the entire point. You can't fake the dark miles. You either did them or you didn't, and your body carries the record. No one else needs to verify it. No app needs to log it. The work either happened or it didn't, and Selection Week will make that answer visible to everyone in the room. One documented pre-SEAL training protocol, adapted from published accounts, runs like this. 2-hour morning sessions, 6 days a week. Ruck in the dark, swim in cold water. Run with a weighted vest. No headphones, no audience. Done before most people have had their coffee. Elite military athletes are not genetic anomalies. They're ordinary people who made a private, repeated decision to do the uncomfortable thing when nothing external required them to. The performance that shows up under pressure in selection was deposited in training long before selection started. You don't build that foundation under the spotlight. The spotlight just reveals whether you built it at all. Like the video and share it with someone putting in the dark miles. Thanks for watching.